Consensus Movement has warned Anambra state government over the alleged killings of Fulanis in the state. Addressing pressmen in Abuja, the president of the group, Comrade Awa Aliyu, said the group cannot guarantee anything that could possibly happen to Southerners in the north if the killing continues. Also expressed displeasure on the actions of Governor Akeredolu, alleging him of intimidation regarding power sharing. However, he said Fulanis are complaining over Benue State security guard on the alleged harassment. He said the recent development is nothing but an attempt to draw Nigeria into a state of anarchy. The group also r- demanded for compensation for, for NSAS, IPOB, and Akinyele victims, giving federal government 21 days ultimatum to avoid protest.
Have been killed or continuously being killed in Anambra State. We just list out the number of people that have been killed and the number of local government that those people were killed. And after all these incidents, nobody did anything. Even the governor and government of Anambra State didn't make it public. They were hiding it. They didn't want people to know. But these are our people, and we get information immediately an incidents occur. We are calling on the governor to, as a matter of urgency and as a matter of national unity, to quickly take a decisive action against those killings. Otherwise, if he allows it to continue like this, then we cannot, as a group who speak on behalf of our people, guarantee anything that could possibly happen. So this is a word of warning and caution to the governor and government of Anambra State over the continuous killing of northerners. It is the responsibility of the governor and the government to protect every citizen that is resident in that state. Nigeria's constitution provides for the liberty and the freedom of expression, as well as to live and do business and intermarriages anywhere in Nigeria. We in the north have tried as much as we can to protect the interests of other Nigerians resident in northern Nigeria. And that was why, with all the killings, with all the destructions, so far so good, nothing has happened to anybody that is not a northerner in the other part that is resident in north, that is from other part of Nigeria. This happened because we try to protect their lives and property. So we cannot see our people being destroyed, being killed and property being destroyed, and we keep quiet. The governor and the government should do something as a matter of urgency. And like I said, we can no longer guarantee the safety of their people here if such killings continue. On the issue of the Governor Akeredolu, as we said clearly, grandstanding, intimidation, harassment cannot and will never pull the North back on its position of power. Will continue to remain in northern Nigeria because we have the number, we have the vote, we have the population. So if for any reason the governor think they want power at all means and by all costs, then we will see when the time comes where minority will pull down majority, which we know is very, very impossible. So we are calling on the governor to be cautious and get his ass together whenever he's talking, so that he will not, at the end of the day, create mayhem and disorganize the peaceful political arrangement that is going on between all parts of Nigeria. On the issue of the continuous killing of Fulanis and destruction of their properties, killings of their cows and stealing, as well as extortion by the so-called forest guard, we are calling on the governor to call his people to order, because from what he is doing, the Fulanis are already agitated and they are crying on a daily basis, complaint upon complaint upon complaint. And they are beginning to say that the governor and his government and his people are pushing them to the wall. So if at the end of the day something happens, the governor should be blamed for it, because what he's doing is already indicating that he's trying to create violence. in his own state of Benue. And everybody knows that he has always been against the federal government. So the governor who has been against the federal government can be against any other person. So the governor should be considered and be cautious of what he do or the instruction he give to those his lifeguards, and to make sure that, like we said earlier, lives and property of Nigerians under the Nigerian Constitution 1999 is secured and they can live anywhere. So nobody has any right to ask anybody not to earn his means of livelihood. If anybody does anything that is against the law, nobody is saying that that person shouldn't be punished. But the punishment should be according to the Constitution and the law of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, not for any individual or group of individuals constituting themselves as authority and then trying to create distrust, disharmony, and violence, indirectly instigating violence among Nigerians. Coming back to the issue of NSAS, Shasha Akinyele market killings, IPOB, and ESN, this will be the 8th time that we are calling on the federal government to pay compensation to the victims of NSAS, most especially of northern extraction. We are using this medium one again to appeal to the government as a matter of importance to pay compensation to the victims of NSAS, Akinyele Shasha market killings, and IPOB/ESN killings, for the fact that the family members of those victims and those that love properties are getting too agitated. And the situation is getting so tensed up. We're able, in the last NSAS protest, why we organized, in fact, the major reason why we organized the no food supply protest was to avert calamity. Because the northern youth were agitated, they were ready to go out and begin to do the same thing that was done to northerners in other parts of Nigeria. But by that no food supply, we were able to persuade them, to make them understand that there's no need for violence. We can adopt other means of sending our message, our grievances, both to government and to our other brothers that in our other part of Nigeria, without destroying them. Even though they were killing and destroying our people, destroying their property, we don't need to do that. We can devise a peaceful means of disagreeing with them. And that is the reason for that no food supply that we did. Now, this is almost 2 years gone by, and nothing has happened. And the families are agitated, and everyday complaints and cries are ongoing, and people are beginning to put themselves together or put their heads together, beginning to think of taking an action. We are calling on the federal government to avert that situation by paying compensation. Here, we are hoping and giving government a 21 days ultimatum, within which we are expecting government to act on the issue of compensation, payment of compensation to these victims. And this date starts from tomorrow, 15th of February 2022. We are given a 15 working days, within which we are expecting government to act. If government don't act, we will be left with no option than to proceed on peaceful protest to further express our displeasure and grievances over the non-payment of compensation to these victims. Thank you very much. Any question?
Gemiga Olamikon, GTV Africa.